Pop culture in the 80s. Hello and welcome to today's broadcast on ABC about popular culture in the 1980s in Australia. Today we'll be exploring the themes of mullets in the 80s, how the Sony Walkman took over the world and revolutionised technology at that day and age. We will also be looking into the video cassette recorder. All three of these artifacts from the iconic 80s has helped shape the country we all know and love that is Australia. So get ready for some 1980s nostalgia. The first artifact that we'll be looking at in today's broadcast is the iconic Sony Walkman. The Sony Walkman became popular in the 80s in Australia as it was music that you could take anywhere you wanted. As the Sony Walkman was portable, it became very popular as it was the only portable music player at the time. The Sony Walkman really revolutionized the way we listen to music to this day. As said before, the Walkman was portable and Australians loved this idea of being able to take your music nearly anywhere. Sony's invention changed the way people did activities and hobbies such as the way they exercised. The people were used to pre-recording cassettes that they would play at their homes. The invention by Sony changed that all. The Sony Walkman is part of the reason why these classic Australian bands such as 80's and AC/DC got so popular, as their music was played wherever or whenever people wanted to. The Walkman was crucial in the growth and exposure of Australian music, therefore making the Walkman be a part of the pop culture in the 1980s. The next artifact that we'll be looking at is the video cassette recorder. The cassette recorder was very popular in the 80s and definitely played an important role in the popular culture. The item that gave This item gave people the opportunity to record TV shows and movies that were presented on television. It was also capable of archiving and rebroadcasting things as repeats. The VCR could also record videos via a VHS tape. This allowed anyone with a VCR that could watch a movie at any time of the day. In the beginning of the 80s, barely any households owned a VCR. In fact, less than 5% of them did. This is largely due to the price of the original VCR, but as the price dropped, the sales got even higher, with over 80% of households possessing a VCR at the end of the 80s decade. The video cassette recorder helped movies such as Crocodile Dundee become more noticed and watched all throughout Australia. At the start, there was only 2 movies on the VCR, but that changed dramatically as they grew into over 33,000 films. The VCR brought the average Australian home together through family movie nights and allowed families to bond. The VCR will be remembered by everyone who lived throughout the 1980s as a crucial part of the Australian household. The mullet. The classic Australian mullet was an excessive hair trend during the 1980s in Australia. This is widely influenced by popular culture. The trend was brought to life by David Bowie in the early stages of the 80s when he appeared on stage with a stylish haircut. Once people saw this fresh haircut, people began to start rocking the iconic mullet. This haircut suddenly made its way into Australia's sport, and arguably Australia's most popular sport, AFL. Some of the game's biggest stars were even seen playing in the very popular haircut, with Dermot Brereton being one of the most popular players in sport to rep this cut. The mullet began to move into Australian culture when it quickly became one of the most popular haircuts, and soon it cemented itself as an icon in Australia's history. Thank you for listening to ABC broadcast of Australia in the 1980s.